Welcome back to another interesting tutorial. I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to sewing this gown. So if you look at this gown, you notice it's a princess that at the front and the back is a little bit open, and it has a band as well as a bow tie. This is another version of this gown. The down part is flayed and you can see the bow is really well exaggerated. I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to making this gown. It also has two side pockets. This is what I got right here for this dress. I actually made my own gown shorter than what we have on the thumbnail, and these are the belts and the bow at the back. This is the front piece of this dress. Here is my bow. So you can actually make your bow a little bit bigger if you want. This is the front piece of the dress right here, and you can see the princess that you can also add a band to this dress if you want. Okay, here is the princess that line. You can go ahead and add a band on the waistline. You can also make the back piece a little bit smaller or tinier as it is on the thumbnail. I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to sewing this gown. The first thing you are going to do is to draft your pattern. Place your tape on the shoulder line, mark your chest line, your bust point line, your under bust line, your waist line. Then I'm going to mark it on the other side again and rule a straight line across. Here is my shoulder line, my chest line. This is my bust point line, my under bust, and this is the waistline. Next, you are going to mark your shoulder divide by 2 on the shoulder line, and you also mark it on the chest line. The neck width here is 3.5 inches. Then I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant and connect. Then mark a straight line to the chest line. So if you want, you can put your armhole, the normal armhole. So let me just put the normal armhole. You go in by 3/4 inch at the mid armhole. Then on the chest line, you are going to get your bust divide by 4 and connect your full armhole. This is the normal armhole, but that is not the armhole we are going to use for this project. I've already marked my bust divide by 4. I'll mark my waist divide by 4 on the waistline. On the bust point, you mark your nipple to nipple measurement divide by 2 or your bust span. Then connect it with a straight line. You are going to share your dart 0.75 or 3/4 inch on both sides, making it 1.5 inches. So this is your dart right now. Next, we are going to replace that 1 inch dart on the side. Then we are going to close up the side of this dress. Next, you are going to impute your bust dart. My bust dart is 2 inches. That is the difference between my back and front. Here I am connecting the bust dart. The neck depth is 4 inches. I'm going to connect the 4 inches neck depth to the 3.5 inches neck width as shown. After connecting the neckline, we are going to come down by 3 inches for the princess dart from the shoulder, and you connect with your curved ruler to the bust point like this. Now I'm going to come down by 1 inch from that point for the princess dart. So I'm going to connect and come out by 1 inch to accommodate the curve on the princess dart. Then you reconnect back to the armhole like this. To contour the under bust, you are going to take the measurement of your under bust circumference divide by 4. Whatever you have left, you put 0.25 in front and the rest at the back. Then you are going to connect or contour your under bust. So you can use any under bust method that is good for you, but I love to use this. It works perfectly for me. So this is what we have for the front bodice. Now we are going to recreate the neckline or the armhole line to have exactly what we have on the thumbnail. To recreate the armhole, from the neckline, measure 2.5 inches. Then from that 2.5 inches, you are going to sit in your ruler to touch the chest line so as to reconnect the armhole. So that is the first step. Now we are going to reconnect the princess dart. So you come out by 1 inch from the new armhole and reconnect the armhole. So I'm using a different marker for you to understand how this goes. After connecting it, we are done with the front piece. So we are going to jump to the back piece now. For the back piece, I'll just rule the chest line across the shoulder line, and for the waistline, because of the bust dart, you come up by 2 inches. So the difference between my back and front is 2 inches. So I came a little bit upper. Next, measure your shoulder, divide by 2. Neck width is 3.5. Shoulder divide by 2, you are going to mark it. You come down by 1 inch for the shoulder drop and connect. Neck depth is 1 inch for the back. I'm going to connect the neck depth this way. I'm going to also contour the back because it has a zipper. I'll go in by 1 inch and connect it to the neckline as shown. Then I'm going to complete the armhole. So just mark your, from that center front line before the contour line, mark your bust divide by 4, and also mark your shoulder divide by 2 and connect a straight line. This is just a temporary armhole anyway, so we are not, that is not the main armhole. Then on the waist, you mark your waist divide by 4 and replace the 1 inch of the contour line. I'm going to close up the sides as shown. Now here we will just make an armhole, but we are not using it, just to make the pattern complete. So I am going to also connect the armhole for the front is going to run all the way to the back. So you see how I'm going to do that. To do that, you are going to mark 3 inches at the center back line and mark 4.5 inches, or just at your bust points on the side, 4.5 and 3 inches. This is how I'll place my ruler to get that curve. So I'll just curve it this way to the center back. After that, you are going to just freehand it to run into your bust area this way. So after doing that, you measure what you have on the neckline width. You mark 2.5 inches. From the center back, you go in by 2.52. I used the 3 inches before, but I noticed it was very wide. So just mark 2.5, 2.5 up and down before you connect with your ruler this way. I think it will give you a tinier waist as we had on the thumbnail. So this is what we got right here. This is the zipper line and the back piece is ready. Now we are going to cut out. This is me cutting out my pattern, and I want you to watch to see how I'm cutting. So I'll just go ahead and cut into the back this way. The zip contour line, I'll cut it all the way down. I'll go over to the waistline like this, and then we are going to cut. But now, please, before you cut the contour line, I remember we are supposed to replace that part, okay? That part on the chest line. Please don't forget to replace it and reconnect your side so you don't have any shortage. That's why I'm doing this. So after you are done doing that, then we can continue to cut. I will now cut from the side this way. Then we'll now cut from that point. So here is my center back. Keep cutting as shown, and that is just what we need for the back piece. So here is the back piece. We are going to join the two pieces together, so you have to make an arrow to indicate where you are going to join it. So we'll continue to cut the front right now. So here I am going to cut out the front as shown. So we are going to cut from the princess dart part, but I just want to make sure that the princess dart accommodation sits right on the new line. So you have to make it sit into the new line. I believe you understand. The line that ran all the way to the back. After that, you begin to cut your pattern. So that is how it's going to look like. I'll cut through the shoulder line, through the neckline. I'm going to cut my bust dart, cut the waistline, and then I'll cut into the darts this way. Just separate the darts as you can see, then cut open the bust dart. I'll close up the bust dart right now. So go ahead and close up your bust dart. So that is it, as you can see. So this really looks beautiful. So don't forget to cut out the dart too. I'll just cut out the princess dart there this way. So this is what the front piece looks like, and the back piece is ready as well. Here is the back piece. So I'll cut this on my fabric and we'll begin to stitch. Here I've cut out, as you can see. So make notch on the under bust. I have both my lining and my fabric here, and you make notch on that point. So we are going to join front and back like this. I added 1 inch for my zipper and added 2 inches on the side of my dress. So now we are going to start stitching. So I'll take off my patterns right now. So by right, you are going to create your wording for your bustier, but I'll just sew in my bustier just like that. Here is my bustier for lining and for fabric. I've prepared them, so I'll set it aside. We'll come back to the back piece. So for the back piece, we are going to stitch the upper piece first. I'll take off my pins. I'll lay it right side to right side. We'll go over to the machine right now. I'm going to stitch the neckline first. After stitching, don't forget to make your notches on the neckline. Then flip all your seams to the lining and top stitch. After top stitching the neckline, then we are going to flip everything right side to right side. This time we are going to close up all the sides and leaving the down piece open to turn. So this is what we got right here. So I'll just go ahead and turn this way. After turning, we are going to give it a good press. So this is what we got after ironing it. So the next we are going to do is to sew the down piece. We're going to place this right side to right side, and then we'll place the lining on top of it. We are going to place it on the notch. After placing it on the notch, you notice you still have your half inch. You have your half inch to stitch the down part. So after that, you are going to place the lining on top this way. Then we are going to stitch it. Make sure you secure with your pins appropriately, as you can see right here. So I'll just secure with my pins this way and then stitch all close. After stitching, go ahead and turn this to the right side. Here I've turned the back and the back piece is ready. We'll move over to the front piece again. For the front piece, you lay it right side to right side and stitch. And after stitching, you make your notches. I'm going to flip all my seams to the part of the lining and top stitch. After top stitching, we are going to flip this right side to right side and stitch half an inch on the armhole. After stitching, you make your notches as usual, and we are going to flip all our seams to the lining on the armhole and top stitch. This is just to relax the armhole piece. After the armhole, then you are going to close up the sides of the dress. You can now go ahead and turn this to the right side. This is it once I'm done turning to the right side. So I'm going to place it right side to right side this way. So I want you to pay attention to see how this is going to be sewn. So the first thing you are going to ensure is that the width of this neckline front and back are the same. If the width is not the same, please go back and stitch it to be the same. So I'll pick up the back and I'll insert my hands below. You are going to take it in this way. Once you take it a little bit in, then you use the front and turn it the way you see me do right here. So if you are making any sleeveless dress, this is the tips and tricks to sewing it. Now I'm going to arrange everything to be on the seam line very appropriately. Then I'll secure with my pins. Now go over to the machine and stitch the seam line. After stitching the seam line, if you turn it, you can see how beautiful it looks right here. So the necklines are very much ready. The next we are going to do is to flip them right side to right side and shaping the dress. After sewing the sides, I did not sew to the end because of the down part. You can see I left like 1 inch, so we'll be able to stitch the flare part of this dress. Next, we are going to calculate the flare part of this dress. So we are going to measure only the front. So whatever measurement you have on the front, for me, I have 17 inches for my front, including the seam allowances. I'm going to divide it by 3.14 because I'm cutting a half circle for it. So I have my radius as 5 inches. I approximated 5.4 to 5 inches. Next, we are also going to take the measurement of the back piece from the seam line. So I'll just take only one part of that back piece. I got 10 inches, so I added another 10 inches. That is for the two sides of the zipper. Okay, so that is 10 plus 10, I have 20. This 20 inches right now, I'm going to divide it by 3.14. I'm going to cut the radius of the front and back piece, 180, 180. So I place my fabric on fold to cut the front piece. I'm going to mark 5 inches, which is the radius I calculated for the front flare. So I have marked the 5 inches as shown. At this point, you are going to take the length of the flare. So just take away the half length. So whatever your half length is, take it away from your full length. But for me, I just made a short length for tutorial purpose. So I use 12 inches. But you can just go ahead and make your flare as long as you want. So here I'm marking the length of my flare. After marking, I went ahead to cut out my flare accordingly. And I also cut out the radius, as you can see right here. So here is the front flare. At this point, I'm going to mark 2 inches below that point and mark 7 inches for my pocket spacing. This flare actually has a pocket, so you just notch your pocket space like that. So this is the front piece right now. I'm going to cut the back piece using the radius that we calculated. After cutting out the back and front piece of the flare, we are going to fold our pocket. After folding the pocket, the length of this pocket measures 10 inches, while the width measures 8 inches. Now you are going to measure 7 inches for your pocket opening. Then you come in by 1.5 inches this way. And then you are going to blend in your pocket this way. We are going to cut it off. This is me cutting the shape of the pocket. So after cutting the shape of the pocket, we will have 4 pieces of our pocket. So just go ahead and cut open the pocket this way. So it's time for us to attach the pocket. We are going to attach it right side to right side to each of these flares. Remember, we cut each 180 degrees, front and back, we cut them 180 degrees. So I'll go and stitch in the pocket. And then I'm also going to label the flares because the radius are different. Because of the zipper allowance for the back piece is longer. So I'm going to label them back and front piece. This is the back piece of this dress. So I'm going to put it together and tear the zipper allowance open. So I'll just cut open that folded part. That is the position of the center back. Now I'm going to sew each of them, as you can see, to the back piece right now. Here is the back piece, so I'm going to lay each piece right side to right side from the zipper to the seam allowance. After stitching the back piece, this is what you will have. Now I'm going to bring in the front piece. So the other half circle, I'll sew it like this, right side to right side into the front piece. After stitching, this is what we got. Next is to fold the sides and seam the side. At this point, don't forget to make a notch into your pocket. That is just to ease that part, so the pocket will be free, as you can see. Here is the pocket. You can see the pocket on the side of the flare. So the next we are going to do is to put the dress together and sew the zip. Here you can see my zipper is ready. Of course, you know how to sew your zip, but make sure the lines are lines on the zipper line. I believe you understand. So next we are going to create the bow. The bow width measures 13 inches and the length measures 16 inches. You can make your bow as big as you want. So I'll just go and stitch and leave one part open. Here I am turning the bow. So you just turn it very well. After that, I'm going to tuck in the open part top stitch. So here you can see I've already created my belt. Your belt is supposed to be 2. The down part should be bigger than it. So I just made a simple belt. I'm going to fold in the first one and top stitch, fold in the second one below neatly and top stitch the both of them. This is what we got at the end of the day for the bow. So you can see how beautiful it looks. So you can now go ahead and position this bow. Open your zipper and tack it on one side, just a little bit, okay? Just give it a little tack so you'll be able to open up your zip too.